Yo, going on, folks? Welcome once again to another Saturday Big at 11 kickoff show. As always, it's me. Marcus is here from House Divided. Also, back of the bus. Follow us at both of those channels. This glorious Saturday. Got my man's with me, Johnny Odin. Y'all know where to follow him at. It's the Johnny Odin Show. How you feeling this weekend, bro?
I'm feeling all right. We back at it again. See what we got. See what we got today.
You know what? There's a calm to not having, playoff implications or having to worry about seeding or whether or not you're even going to make it, conference championships, because we know we're not in there, right? So we can just kind of sit back, hope we play spoiler, and then, look at other teams kind of dash their dreams on the way. Kind of sop up some of our own tears.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like last week, watching OSU Penn State build up to the game Saturday, the stress I saw on Garrison's face watching Scarlet and Blue, and the anticipation and the stress. I ain't gonna lie, I miss it a little bit, but not really. It's stressful.
Shout out to Buckeye Garrison again. He's the newest member of Voice of College Football for the Ohio State channel. So congratulations on that. That's huge.
But yeah, it's stressful. It's stressful, during the game, before the game, during the game, the different big plays, so I don't miss it right now.
No, I mean, look, would I have rather be in that spot? Absolutely. But knowing we're not, just kind of, it takes some of the stank off of it. It takes the stress off of it. Yeah, you can kind of ease.
It's stressful. It's stressful, bro. Just thinking of the games early in the season when we still had hopes.
Right.
It's stressful. The big game is stressful.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Not a, I don't think it's an outrageous slate for the Big Ten this week. We can kind of look at some other wider ranging games, national games. I think Alabama LSU is today. That's a big one that also has implications for the Michigan program off the field and in the recruiting space.
I think that's the biggest game today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest game today. You got obviously LSU trying to hold pat in the race in the SEC, also trying to keep some of their star-studded recruiting class in-house. This will be a great showing for them to try to solidify all of that. And then on the other side, Alabama this was one of them prove it games. You know what I mean? This is one of them. All right, well, y'all counted us out. Let's see if we can get back into this. Let's see if we can reassert ourselves here down the stretch.
This one, they out of there pretty much.
Yeah, I was about to say, were they 10 or 8-2 right now? What's the record?
They got 2 losses, whatever they
7-2.
So this
is do or die. But it's also one of those games where it's like you could either falter, and obviously, like you said, you're out of the playoffs, or you stand up, you blow them out. Now everybody looking at Alabama as an at-large bid potentially, and be like, all right, now that's a dangerous game. So it's one of them crossroads, right? You can go either way with it. I like Alabama. I think that some of their problems that they've had, while I think it's a little bit of culture, you can't have your team captain throwing his mouthpiece all over the field and not say that you don't have any culture problems. But it's also been the transition from Saban to DeBoer. Like I don't know who they are as coaches inside of the locker room or inside of the field house, but you would have to expect there to be a natural personality shift. Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. You can see that from interviews. You can see that just from watching how they play. So there's got to be a natural kind of, all right, this is the sheriff now. This is the guy. And we're dealing with a bit of that ourselves, not to the same degree. Obviously, ours is a little bit more drastic, but we've had a little bit of that too. There's a new sheriff in town, and maybe it's taking a little bit longer than what was expected to try to assert themselves. Now they have a chance at the end of the season to rewrite that narrative if they make the playoff, right? Nobody's going to be thinking about Malachi Moore throwing his mouthpiece earlier in the season and the loss to Vandy. if they go on and win a game in the playoffs. So I'm going Bama. You know, again, we don't do score predictions. Y'all let us know who y'all got in the Alabama LSU game this week. But that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, if I got to lean to somebody, I'm gonna lean to Bama. Their backs against the wall right now. You know,
For
and
sure.
it wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise
3 more
me if
weeks.
LSU snuck them, but I think I got Bama with their backs against the wall. You know, that championship pedigree that they carry about themselves, and this is a big one for the board because if you don't win this one, and there's the possibility that you don't make the playoffs
Right.
with bringing back a good squad, Jalen Milroe, you know, just bringing back the starting quarterback from the year before that's highly touted like that. That's a lot of pressure. So, and that gives you, that's not an excuse. Like you got the quarterback. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. So he better win this one. He better
You
win.
right. I guess the next one I was looking at there would be, hold on one second. Alrighty, so we've got 14 in the chat. I see one like. Help us out, folks. Help us out. Smash the like. Smash the like.
It's free. Hit the like button, y'all.
Next one, I see Georgia, Ole Miss. That's probably not the biggest game, but it's probably going to be the most competitive in my eyes. Would be Ole Miss and Georgia. I think the
Oh, that's a
one
good
thing
one.
that's been missing from a Georgia upset this year is an offense that can score against Georgia. While I am not supremely talented, or excuse me, supremely confident about what's going on in at Ole Miss in terms of them being able to beat a top 5 team, a top 5 Georgia team. I think that they present the one thing this season, at least, that can actually hurt Georgia, which is while they get into these offensive lulls where Carson Beck is not lighting it up. Now, if the other team's offense can put up some touchdowns, it looks a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like that's how Alabama got them. It
Yeah.
was all right. Y'all got a great defense, but we're gonna try to score as much as we can early as we can to make you chase. If Ole Miss can do that same thing and they fall into that offensive rut that they've been prone to here quite a few times this season, that could spell trouble for them.
That's a fact. You know, Ole Miss brings that passing game, which we saw against Bama.
Mm-hmm.
They exposed that back end of Georgia, but will you be able to do it? Will Kirby Smart have them boys with their head on fire?
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna have time to throw all them shots. You know,
Which sidebar about Kirby, man, we're going to make time to talk about what's going on in the Georgia program. I understand it's football. They at the top of the rankings right now. I'm not going to do to them what people tried to do to us while we were on our run. But we're going to make some time to talk about what's going on down there, man, because I have yet to hear anything about him hitting Michael Van Buren several weeks ago in that Mississippi State game. That should just went fluttered off. So we'll talk about it at an appropriate time. But yeah, no, I like Georgia still, right? Because they're is Ole Miss going to be able to hold Georgia down the way that a Vanderbilt did, a way that who else did they struggle against? Was it Florida? They had a close game against Kentucky. Do I like as Ole Miss defensively as much as I like some of those other teams? I don't know. I mean, they're not world beaters, so it's not going to take a lot. I don't historically think Ole Miss in defense. Maybe I haven't watched them enough this year.
They ain't
to
playing
know.
no defense like that. Not
Yeah,
that I know of. But it's also on Carson Beck. He's just been playing bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's just been playing bad. Looking at Georgia and what they can do and how Kirby Smart gets them up for these big games with garbage quarterback play and still managing to win. That's what I thought we was gonna be. That's what that's what I was hoping we was gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're Georgia, right?
Defense.
Yeah, yeah.
And we with our hair on fire, and you get nothing. You ain't get nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, even with his struggles, Carson Beck's better than anything we got in our room right now. But
That's
you're
true.
right.
He's
We
been
we
bad.
expected we were expecting to be able to lean on a lot more this year, and injuries have reared their head. It's a lot of stuff. We got a laundry list of issues as to why we can't maximize. But
That's true.
who you got? Georgia or Georgia or Ole Miss?
I got Georgia. The way Kirby's a big game coach. You
Yeah.
know, they've gotten so good that regular games they kind of walk through them.
Mhm.
These are the big time games, big time matchups. Those players get up for Georgia, it seems like, and Kirby knows how to get them up for those games. So I'm picking Georgia. They actually got a championship pedigree with the championship coach. So
For sure. For sure. Um, let's see here. I'm looking for other national stuff that may be interesting. Mississippi State, Tennessee. That's a stinker. Maryland's playing Oregon. We'll talk about that in the Big Ten games. Colorado, Texas Tech will probably be pretty competitive. 4:00 on Fox. It's a Big 12 game. They're both 6-3, so both vying for the Big 12 championship. I think that'll be a pretty competitive game.
Colorado 6-3.
They're 6-2. Texas Tech is 6-3.
Got you. That'll be an interesting one with the schemes. That'll be an interesting watch, a good watch, honestly.
That's probably going. They're probably going to score 100 points.
That's going to be a good watch. And
Mhm.
I see people trying to hype up Colorado, like Dion's done a master class or something. It's like, bro, they're in the Big 12. Like they don't play. They played nobody like all year. Like what are we talking about?
I want to see them play. Did they already beat Cincinnati? They play Cincinnati. Let me look at their record.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm looking at it like this, right? I think you give Prime credit for at least getting the program back to a somewhat competitive level, and meaning that they're not expecting to have single digit wins, right? They're trending towards at least a 10-win season. So whatever conference you playing in, that's at least impressive from what they came from.
Not to me, but look, I'm just gonna be one.
I'm gonna give him bail because they was a 1-win program, right? So if you take a 1-win program and win 10 games, that's
okay.
I'll clap you up. They do that to Matt Rule. They be screaming Matt Rule's praises because he had Temple at 10 wins.
I give you that, but look at this. Okay, what if the Pac-12 stayed the Pac-12? How many wins they getting?
Ooh. So Oregon stays, Washington stays, Utah stays. I mean, or Utah, yeah.
Oregon, Washington, Arizona.
6. I would slate them for how it was constituted last year. I probably slate them for about 6 wins,
if that.
No.
I'm not giving them that many, depending on their schedule.
All right, so they beat. Who did they play? They beat North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona. Yeah, they just beat Cincinnati. Okay, that was a good game then. I will say that they are still budding. They're still budding. I'm not completely on the train like everybody else. In terms of a complete turnaround, but he's done what he needed to do thus far. They just got to continue to trek. I would love to see them win the conference this year. If they do that, then we'll have a real chance of seeing what they do in the playoffs. I don't know if a 3-loss Colorado team or a 2-loss Colorado team is going to be, if they don't win their conference, I don't know if they're going to be dead set for an at-large bid. There's going to be a lot of teams out there
because the ratings going to be crazy.
Yeah, but you got to think, man, it's going to be a lot of 10-2, 9-3 Big Ten teams as well.
I mean, they won't deserve to get in.
SEC teams as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but that's what you're talking about with viewership, right? Like, okay, Colorado, y'all gonna pack out the Orange Bowl? Your fan base. Is your fan base gonna pack out the Orange Bowl? No.
It's
okay,
gonna be packed with somebody. Somebody
we might just call Ole Miss.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be packed.
Yeah,
because if they get in, whatever, wherever they go, it's gonna be packed because the brand of Dion. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna go watch because who's gonna be there? Is Cameron and Mace and Snoop is Is Taylor Swift gonna show up?
I didn't think about that aspect of it. Yeah, a
Like,
lot of
who's
people are
gonna
going to want
be
to
at
see
this
Dion's
game?
first college playoff game. You're right. You're right.
You
You're
know
right.
what I'm saying? That's gonna be the ticket.
But they got to be there though. It can't be so demonstrative that it looks like they just got selected because of Dion in the brand. They got to stay in this pocket right now of a 2-loss team because of the strength of their conference. And if they don't win the conference outright, that makes it even worse. So
Yeah, it's gonna make
we'll
it
see how
hard.
that plays out. I'll take them. I'll take the Buffs over the Red Raiders there at Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think
Give me
I'd take them
Colorado.
too. But this is my question before we get off Colorado.
Sure.
I wonder what they're gonna look like next year because he don't recruit. He just goes through the transfer portal. So I'm interested to see what will they look like and how much does Dion care when his sons are gone? Will he still be there?
That's a question. That's a question. I mean, I think there are going to be some interesting spots that are, probably going to be open coming here soon for Dion. You'd have to think that the Cowboys are going to eventually in the next couple of years not be a Mike McCarthy coach team. What else? Florida State right now, Norvell's future doesn't look very long at Florida State.
Do you think Florida State trusts him enough? If I'm a school or somebody with money or whatever, I'm a program, or if I'm the NFL, watching Colorado I'm not sure I trust Dion. That's just me. I'm not sure I trust him enough yet.
I see. Okay. So if we just talking common sense, there's a reason to have some apprehension, right? Like he's on his second program and it's going positive, but I don't think
I'm strictly talking football, not
football. Yeah.
Not the brand of I'm going to bring
you right. And we just talking the football of it, right? He's on his second program that he's built. It's going positively, but I don't think he's proven that he could transition that to an NFL level style, organization. Now, at the same time, when you look across the people who get their shots in the NFL, it's kind of like NBA head coaches. This would be like, man, where did that dude came from? You get one good year offensive coordinator under a certain coach, and now you running the whole organization. You know what I mean? So he's not that far removed from other guys that I feel like got their shot prematurely. It's not that unrealistic, especially when we talk about Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I'm not saying I couldn't see it happening. I'm just saying,
would it work? Is it?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him just yet. I wouldn't.
Now, Florida State feels like America.
I wouldn't want him at Michigan.
No. We're not talking about Michigan, but Tallahassee.
You see,
Florida State
is on our level.
Right now,
currently? Is a school.
Kinda. I mean, they had their thing in the 80s, but I don't.
It's a football school. They're
sure. Okay. I guess they're kind of a blue blood. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't. If I'm Florida State, I'm like,
But you got to think, right? They are they're not so much in a football battle with Miami and Florida right now as they are a recruiting battle. Those coaching staffs are more focused on shutting down the state for their program than they are winning football games. Thank God Cam Ward transferred to Miami because there's just no telling what that team would look like without him. So, yeah, they beat god awful. So I'm saying, if you are Florida State and the calculus is we got to win back this state, it's the most plentiful state of recruits in the entire country. We have to cut back into Napier and Cristobal stronghold. Shoot, overnight, it would happen overnight. Now, would he turn that into a successful program? I don't think we've ever seen him with that type of recruiting power, because as much as he's done at Colorado, he don't have the dogs to go out here and fight blue bloods. He can't fight Ohio State. He can't fight Michigan. If Michigan wants Alex Graham, they're getting them.
He's not really recruiting. He's just using the transfer portal.
That too, right? Like, I don't think you have to build, because you have to build a recruiting pipeline. You got to be somewhere long enough to build relationships to build a recruiting pipeline. Dion hasn't done that yet. He hopped too much. So it's hard, man. It's tough. I think he could do what he did at Jackson and Colorado at Florida State. The question would be what you're talking about. Would it be sustainable? would he
Yeah.
be able to keep those roots in Florida after the initial, oh shit, Deion's back at Florida State kind of buzz, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Tyler says they'll be terrible. Jay Marion to Travis and Shador come back for Deion one more year. I mean, no, hell no.
I
No. And
wouldn't.
I think that's part of the NFL speculation too, because nobody else has ever coached Shador. So I especially seeing what just happened with LeBron and Bronny, don't be surprised if it is a quick exit after Shador declares. Because I just don't think he's married to Colorado. I don't think he's married to him.
Bro, what's I know this ain't whatever, but bro, what's going on with LeBron and his son is
It's
straight
nuts.
craziness.
It's nuts.
His son,
it's so
he's
frustrating.
not gonna travel with the G League team.
He's not traveling with them. He's traveling with the big team.
He'll play
the
home Laker game. He'll play G League home games, but he's not traveling with the G League team when they go on the road. He's gonna travel with the Lakers.
Yeah, I guess we'll indulge on the sidebar for a second. I just wonder what the what his teammates, like, honestly, when there's no cameras around, there's no NBA reporters, like they got to be. I mean, this is some bullshit. This some bullshit. Like this is crazy. Like this man got $1 million contract as a two-way player, but it's guaranteed, and he doesn't have to travel for the G League home games. What are we talking about here? What is happening to the league? And y'all not really winning either, which y'all win 2 games all season so far.
They losing their credibility. The NBA's, they think it's a good thing, but they losing their credibility real fast.
Oh, and the ratings are dropping. Yes, it's all bad over there.
Exactly. It's like you losing that seriousness of professional sports. But I hate it for Bronny. I mean, I don't feel bad for him. He's gonna be.
I don't feel bad for him because at a certain degree he wanted this.
But this is why I feel bad for him, because this is LeBron. This is LeBron playing puppet master. So
yeah, absolutely.
When LeBron retires, you might want to retire.
See ya.
You might want to retire.
The reason why I don't feel bad for him, though, is because I believe he knows that. He has to know that. Now that he's had a chance to go out there and actually compete versus other NBA players, he has to know that his life in the NBA is as long as his father's life before retirement. So if that's the calculus, and we know everything we know about Bronny, social media sensation, he needs to do well enough to be able to cartel this into some kind of career in that after basketball. Do enough to be seen in some big time NBA games, to be seen next to some big time NBA stars, so that you can ride that wave into what you're more successful at, which is your personality, right? The stuff off the court. He's not, I don't think he'll ever transcend to be a full-time NBA starter or even role player.
Okay. LeBron retires.
Mm-hmm.
How many years do you think Bronny stays in the league?
Whatever's remaining on this contract. Whatever is remaining on this current contract.
You doing little Bronny bad?
Because here's the thing. They are literally exposing his weaknesses as he's supposed to be developing in the G League. Well, the more you play him and the more he puts up bad tape, the more his value diminishes. And it's only going to stay so high because of LeBron. If there's no LeBron aspect added to that, and you've just seen diminishing value every time he's on the court, by the time it even matters, they'll already have decided what he is as a player, and he'll be gone. They're not going to stay loyal to the fact that LeBron wanted him in the NBA after LeBron is gone.
Thank God he finally retired. All right,
Yeah.
cut Bronny. Cut him.
Yeah, man. I think he should set up his after sports career. You know, that'll probably be the best thing for him. Let's knock out some of these Big Ten games. So up first at noon, I believe, is it Ohio State and Purdue? Do they got first up?
I think they are at noon.
Yep, 12 o'clock on Fox. Ohio State, Purdue. So if you are a frequent of this channel, you know that I think Purdue is dog shit. Hate their coach. They're the worst team in the Big Ten. They are a 1-7 team, and they're playing at the Shoe. So we don't need to spend a bunch of time on that. A lot to a little. I got Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State. This one for Ohio State. They just want to come out, smash them, smash them early because it's getting late in the season now. So you want to smash them early because you don't want your good players out there maybe getting hurt.
Sure.
You already got a longer playoff. So it's about staying healthy because as the season's going on, they're having players that are dropping in key positions. So,
You know what I want to see? I want to see one of them young quarterbacks. Like we've seen some Devin Brown. Obviously, Will Howard's played most of the season. I want to see what y'all doing with Julian Sand or Aaron Nolan. I just want to see it, because I mean we're not going to get a lot of competitiveness out of this game anyways, and I expect starters to sit like you said. Let's see what the young QBs is doing over there down here in Columbus. Let's see what the future actually holds. Mm-hmm. I like to see those guys slinging and see what's going on. But other than that, I don't think we're going to get much else out of this game. So try to get out healthy, I guess, Buckeyes, if that's what you want to do. If you don't,
and let's see if Will Howard can go a game without making a bonehead mistake.
True. Is that just going to be his thing that we can kind of count on, or is he cleaning it up here in the last third of the season? We'll see. Up next, who else is at 12? Minnesota Rutgers at 12 on NBC. Got the Golden Gophers and the Scarlet Knights. Who you got?
I'll take Rutgers in that one.
Rutgers. Yeah, okay. 4-4 Rutgers fighting for bowl eligibility. Minnesota 6-3, trying to fight for something a little bit more. Oh, and my daughter. Hello, baby.
Minnesota 6-3.
Minnesota is 6-3.
I might take Minnesota. I might.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the matchup is what it is, right? There's going to be tough defense played in both ways. Bye, baby. Tough defense played both ways. I apologize for that, Joe. I think quarterback play is gonna be a little bit of a difference in this too. I just don't get anything from that spot in years from Minnesota. There's nothing there that makes you fear them. So if it's just going to be run, if there's a team that can stop that, I'd say it's going to be Schiano and Rutgers. Especially as desperate as they are, they got to get 2 more wins here in the last 3 to be bowl eligible.
Got you.
Yeah,
Ron Tarver, the last 3 games, Will Howard's made bonehead mistakes.
That's games without mistakes this
year.
He's
made bonehead mistakes in a lot of games this year, but the last 3 games, he's consistently made a couple bonehead mistakes.
Here's where I will give Ohio State about the only credit I will give them all season. The reason why they haven't shown themselves is because they've always been able to follow it up with a stop, a turnover, or another quick turnaround score to cover it up.
Yeah, so it hasn't hurt them.
If I could say one thing, they respond very well even when they have those kind of blunders. And that's why maybe it's not registering to my boy Ron Tarver that Will Howard got the yips. He just got, every now and again he'd be like, no, you have the ball. Wait, oh no, wrong team.
Right.
Every now and again.
He has. I mean, that's just a fact. It ain't nothing wrong with admitting when your players make mistakes. You just gotta hope he can play clean enough once you get to the playoff.
Yeah. This is not I don't think this is a game where you want to play around if you're Ohio State. Don't even get up in the first half, first quarter even, and just kind of let's coast it out, run the ball.
You don't want somebody getting hurt because they had to play because you messed around.
Right, you had to play too long. Okay, so that is we have Michigan or Minnesota Rutgers. Maryland, no. 3:30 game. Michigan, Indiana, CBS. 9-0, Indiana, and where Michigan is traveling out there. Okay, so that's double tough. Michigan is 5-4, looking to get that 6th win to secure bowl eligibility. More than likely will come next week, but I'm not, totally throwing in the towel on my boys. What do you foresee from our Michigan Wolverines this week against Indiana?
I'm worried about this game.
Mhm.
I've been more worried about this game than the Oregon one almost, because their coach is hungry. I mean, similar to Dan Lanning, he's a hungry douchebag. But you know, Signetti, they actually have something to prove. You know, Oregon really didn't have much to prove against us, but that's just how Dan Lanning kind of goes about his stuff. He wants to be a dickhead. So Signetti, Indiana, they actually have something to prove today. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, regardless, it's Michigan. You know, last week, Oregon, Michigan, y'all really didn't have anything to prove with this Michigan team. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? But Indiana, people see them as, oh, they haven't played anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That offense, and you're going up against a Michigan defense with NFL players. Like,
Yep.
even with Will Johnson being out. So I think they're going to come out really trying to prove a point. And watching Michigan this year, when we play an offense like that and they start cooking a little bit, we start looking real confused real
Yeah.
fast. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So that's why I'm really worried about this one, because I think Indiana is going to come out trying to prove something, which can go both ways. You can come out trying to prove something and you can be too tight,
Yeah.
or you can come out focused and we out here executing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But either way, that's how they're going to come out, because everybody's waiting for this one to see. Even people that, oh, Michigan is trash, they're still. I'm seeing how Indiana looks against Michigan.
That only goes one way. That goes from Ohio State fans down at Michigan fans. Like
Yeah,
that.
but they know they have to play
Indiana wants
Indiana.
to beat us. They
Yeah,
want to beat us.
yeah, and they know Indiana. They know they have to play Indiana, so they're
Yeah.
watching close because they know we have some studs on defense at least.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
so a lot of people are watching this to see, okay, how good is Indiana for real? Let's
Let's
see
see.
how they do. So
Yeah. So if you look at the last 10 matchups between Michigan and Indiana, it is literally just that game in 2020 where they got us, where we were, where we won like 2 games that season, the COVID season, where they actually got over the hump and beat us. And this is probably the best version of an Indiana team we've seen in those 10 years. So the motivation is so far beyond what our current record is. And honestly, I'm kind of annoyed by it because we always seem to be in that position, right? You beat the hell out of a team for like years on and years in, and then you get a down year and they turn that game into their Super Bowl. You know what I mean? In Illinois a couple weeks ago, we have beaten Illinois the last like 20 times we played them, I believe. And then here we go. We got a down year. They beat us. They stormed the damn field. Okay. As much as I want to, wallow in this loss because of how bad we are this year, it's not the same sting, because I know next year what y'all got, we gonna have, and then we gonna line it back up and see what's really what. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's very annoying because you have to take it in the moment. They're better right now. They're a better team. They're favored, and so if it's gonna go that way, it's gonna go that way, and they're gonna have to earn it on the field. It's annoying that every time we get beat in this loathsome season, the other team is so excited. It's not Oregon. I'll give Oregon, well, not Dan Lanning, but the players. They didn't act like they just beat beat the world beaters, beat the 2023 team. They knew who they beat. Now they coach didn't have much class, but the players were okay about it.
Yeah, he act like they won a national championship.
Yeah.
Let's call a timeout. Look at everybody leaving the stadium. Look at this.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
He was a preteen at the mall for the first time by himself, acting the hell up. And that's gonna come back around, right? Like we're not gonna be in this spot. Like Bryce Underwood be damned. We're not gonna be back in this spot again. So just count them cards.
Right.
Count them cards, because we will be back around for sure.
Yeah,
But
and I told y'all, I didn't like what was going on. We see they scored that touchdown. We didn't see the video of the timeout and all that bull.
Yeah.
That came out later. I told y'all he wasn't about nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as the game today goes, I mean, I expect Michigan to fight, right? This is a less talented version of what Oregon presents. Heavy RPO offense. They're going to run tempo to try to tire our interior out. Will Johnson not being there is, again, going to be a blow. I expect him, if he's going to play again, to be in the Ohio State game and probably nothing else, if that's even going to happen. But we are getting Jair Hill back, it sounds like, this week. So a little bit more firepower. We can put Zeke back inside and he doesn't have to, cover, which he wasn't that much of the problem last week. He gave up some plays, but he wasn't the worst offender either. So I'm hoping that is a trend that continues to pick up and he gets better and better in coverage. All in all, man, this game is going to come down to the key things that helped us win at Michigan State. No turnovers, no penalties, clean execution, decent play calling. I can't ask for great play calling because I know who we're dealing with, but decent play calling.
So what do you see the offense? What is Michigan offense?
You know what it's going to be. You know what it's going to be. They're going to drop back and pass.
We've lost our identity. It seems like they don't really know what, normally at this point in the season, your identity. We run the ball, we play action. We're a passing team. We pass first and, then we run. Right now, it don't look like they know what they want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So,
well, I know what they want to do, but we're not good at it. But that's what they're going to do.
And it's made us not good at the thing we were kind of good at.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and go back down this road. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, I told everybody, I said it. I was very clear. If we lean into the passing game, it's getting a little dark in here. Turn this light on. If we lean into the passing game the way that the coaching staff seems to want to lean into it, the running game is going to suffer. If they go with Davis Warren, a guy who's not a threat to pull it and run it, because we've already seen what our running game looks like, running into loaded boxes when there's no run check, when there's no RPO, when there's no zone read, when there's no +1 runs. We know what that looks like. Fresno was able to compete with our running game, right? Mm-hmm. So when you take that element back off the field, which we know that element is, I'm not going to start singing his praises again, but it was what it was. You took that element off the field. Now you've reserved yourself to only being able to run the football through trick plays, jet sweeps, and Alex Orji off the bench plus runs. That is the most successful things that we've gotten out of the running game since we've gone back to this offensive balance. So what they did was they took something that we were a plus at because we were trending around 200 yards a game on the ground and said the passing game is not doing well enough, changed the quarterbacks 2 times over, and each time the running game got incrementally worse. So now we're in a spot where they finally got the quarterback that they want, and he's the best passer. But even at his best, we're getting 160 yards. 160 yards isn't good to anybody if you're not running the fam football. So the way that they went about trying to fix the offense in season just ended up making it worse. And so now we're in a spot where you kind of just have to hope that you can stay ahead of the chains on the arms of Warren, because that's what they're leaning into. They're not leaning run. And they can't really lean run with him in the game because the teams don't respect it. They're not going to respect it. They're going to play heavy quarters coverage, or they're just going to straight up bring a man into the box and force you to throw out of it. And if that's the case, we are dependent heavily on Davis Warren's arm. So
I'm trying to see some of this stuff that, if you're going to do things, okay, do it, but let's try to do it well. Some of the head scratching things to me are, you never try to scheme up deep passes. Like,
they don't like you just come out and just throw them, right? Just to put it on film.
And then I'm looking and I see Marlon Klein on a fly route, on a go. The tight end, bro. That out of all the people that run a fly or go,
you
use the tight end. Because this is why I get mad, because it's basic football type of stuff. Run the ball, play action to get some type of separation, to get the defense to, hesitate.
Mhm.
And then you throw that bomb. You look for the right coverage. Okay, we got a minute. We got it. Dial up that Fred Moore bomb, that Omarion Walker if he's playing, or Samat. I really don't care. Just let me
Throw it
see
to
you
somebody. Yeah.
throw that shot deep. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's not say we don't care, because the one passing play that Alex Orji had against Oregon was a rollout pass to none other than Ben Bredesen in the corner of the end zone.
Now, I'd care when it's that, because, and that was stupid too.
Because why in the hell you sitting up here and you trying to convince me that you giving this man an honest shot to throw the football and show that he can pass, and you got him throwing deep to Ben Bredesen?
And he was like quadruple covered.
He was the only deep route, Johnny. He was the primary deep route. Ben Bredesen. Like, oh, I'm a fool. I got him. Yeah. They ain't never gonna see this. I'm gonna send Big Ben Bredesen, the 250-pound damn fullback, on a deep corner route for Alex Orji to throw the ball to. Man, they have so much faith in that kid. Man, I honestly don't understand why he's still enrolled.
Yeah, and that was dumb too. So, put one of your wide receivers out there. I don't care if he can't. I'm getting tired of some of this stuff. I don't care if he's not a good blocker. Yeah. Oh, if you can't block, you can't play. Well, okay. Well,
no, you got to be winning games to say shit like that.
Exactly.
You got to be winning games.
You got to be winning for that, bro. I don't care if Fred Moore can't block. You get that man a jet sweep or a verse because he's fast. You give him that deep post. You give him that go route off the play action because he's fast. Like, some of this stuff you got to stop. You setting yourself up to lose, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not lying, man. You're not lying.
So,
doesn't make me feel good to predict a loss for my team. But the last time I did, they went out and won. So I'm gonna just call it like I see it. I got Indiana over Michigan at home today at 3:30 on CBS. Hope they prove me wrong. Again, last time I did that, they won. They beat Michigan State. So shout out to them.
I think
last couple of games here. We've got Maryland, Oregon at 7:00.
Maryland who?
Maryland and Oregon at Oregon.
I probably got Oregon. Mike Loxley, he going.
Hey, hold on.
He going.
Hey, man.
He gonna find a way to move the ball. But can they execute, consistently? He always
can find a way to move the ball. Okay. I thought you were about to say something about his prospects. They are a 4-4 team, and this is going to be tough for them, man. Yeah, you're right. They're going to move the ball, but they can't stop Oregon, and they have some of the same problems that a Nebraska has, or who else? Illinois sometimes. Like they will be good in between the red zones, and then red zone plus forward towards the goal line is a problem for them. They're kicking too many field goals. They get turnovers. They just don't end the drives and touchdowns. So I don't really see that going any differently than how our game versus Oregon went. That would be the 5th loss of the season for Maryland. Who they got left? Who does Maryland have left? Maryland plays Oregon today. Next Saturday, they got Rutgers, which will be a competitive game, who will also be fighting for bowl eligibility. Iowa, and then Penn State. Ooh. Does Maryland have 2 more wins in there to get bowl eligible?
It's going to be close.
Oregon, Rutgers, Iowa, Penn State. Chat, what do y'all think? Is Maryland getting bowl eligible?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Doesn't look like it. Like Penn State's a loss for sure. Oregon's a loss for sure. That's 6. They'd have to win one out of Rutgers in Iowa, which I don't think they'll be favored in either one of those games. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. They might get one of those games.
So yeah, man, missing bowl eligibility in year what is this, year 7 or 8 for Locke?
Yeah.
It doesn't look good, but we'll leave that until there's news otherwise. And then after that, it is the Washington Penn State game on Peacock at 8.
Peacock. That's a horrible watch. But
Crap game for Penn State. Coming off of a devastating loss to Ohio State. Washington obviously has an offense. They can score a little bit.
yeah. After that loss to Ohio State, Penn State might come out lackadaisical. In Washington, Jed Fish is pretty good. So he'll be able to scheme up some stuff for that Penn State defense.
Yeah.
And that Penn State offense, it ain't exactly great. You know what I'm saying? So they can mess around and be in a dogfight.
Yeah.
Early fourth quarter if they don't come out,
Yeah, I think you're right. They have to establish themselves, right? They have to make sure that Washington knows they're the more physical team and dominate the line of scrimmage. If they don't, it's going to be a competitive game into the third, fourth quarter for sure. Because Penn State, they do this every year. They convince us that they have an offense, right? They go 7-0, 8-0, and like, hey, Penn State's a top team. They're an elite team. They can make a playoff. And then they have to take that offense versus an elite defense, and it looks boo-boo. Looks awful. It looks like how we used to be. We'll go 10, not exactly, because we would go like 10, 11-0 and play Ohio State and then lose the bowl game. They'll already have lost to Ohio State, by the time they got 7 wins. But they convince us that their offense is towards a certain level, and then it falls woefully short once they have to play somebody serious. So I don't know, man. I don't know how to call this game. If Penn State isn't up by 10 points somewhere around half, midway second quarter, I'd say you can clock this for a fourth quarter game.
Yeah,
I don't believe in James Franklin more than I believe in Jed Fish. I think there's a talent discrepancy in this game, so that's got to account for something. Obviously, the defense on the Nittany Lions side is a little bit better than what Washington's toting, but again, you got James Franklin and you got a pedestrian offense, so you're available.
I think, and not to harp on last week for them, but the fact that they didn't put that big tight end in a Wildcat when you've been doing that all year, the game is, you need to tie the game. You're on like the 2 or the 1, and you've been using this big monster in the Wildcat, and then you just forget to do it. That big monster.
No, because we got to put our backup left tackle at wide receiver. Plays in well, bro. You don't understand how the offense is set up.
Put the left tackle in motion.
Put him in motion twice, and then try to throw to him.
It's gonna work this time. Yeah, they didn't know. They didn't expect that. They didn't expect for me to do that. Put that big left tackle out there in motion, boy.
Yeah, you're right, James. They definitely didn't expect for you to do that. You are right. 100%.
Run it right back. It's gonna work.
Called the timeout and trotted the man back. Put him back out there. But they lined up in it, called the timeout, and put him right back out.
Yeah, so
you know what? Give me Washington. To hell with it. Give me Washington. Give me Jed Fish.
Exactly.
Give me Jed Fish, man. I ain't playing around with Franklin no more.
I wouldn't be surprised if saying that, I wouldn't be surprised if they get those 2 regular season losses that they always get somehow. They didn't play us this year. So, it's usually Michigan, Ohio State. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington gets that gives them that loss.
Second Penn State loss.
Yeah.
Because they slated to be a playoff team now, but if they lose that second one, Ohio State only has 1 loss. Oregon's undefeated.
Is this a whiteout?
I don't know.
It's at Penn State at night, or did they already have
Penn State? So this should be a whiteout because I don't think they've had one at night all season.
They might be coming out rocking, maybe.
We'll see. We will see, man. We got about 5 minutes here before kickoff or before they start the actual show. Anything else you wanted to talk about? Any recruiting news that's, bubbling up in your ear that you want to talk about or anything? Anything you want to talk about?
I just, they got to get Bryce to stay home or whatever it is, Michigan fans going to the game. I just hate that they waited so long to do this.
That is what I would be asking if I was his family. right? Where was this energy before we committed to LSU?
Yeah.
Where was, and I can't say that about the coaching staff because the coaching staff been recruiting me
These
since
are
he
just
was
the
like in eighth
fans,
grade.
Michigan fans.
Yeah, I'm asking the fan base, y'all, where was this before I committed to LSU?
Yeah.
Because that's the part of it that the coaching staff can't really control how passionate the fan base is about getting a recruit. We can't tell y'all to do that. We can't make y'all do it. We can't even organize it. Like that's a y'all thing. So for all of those complaining and Michigan recruiting, blah 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 blah, it's good to see people putting together their own initiatives and not just waiting on an administration or even the coaching staff. If you want to see a player, he got social media. You live in Michigan. He got high school games that are public. You can go and you can show your Michigan fandom. That's much more positive than a kid coming to a game and hearing you boo the starting quarterback. Yeah. Like that's the type of shit almost lost you Jaden Davis. So I'm much more positive on this end of it. And as far as what Bryce Underwood would mean, I think it would be a great addition. Obviously, we need a quarterback now that Carter Smith decommitted. I'll continue to ask this question though. If we get Bryce Underwood, we get another quarterback in the portal who's mobile, Jaden Mayava from Arizona, or dude from Virginia Tech, or Jaden Daniels from Kansas, something like that, right? We get a bona fide starter along with Bryce Underwood. Is anybody confident that Kirk Campbell can call running plays for those athletic quarterbacks any more than he was able to do for Alex Orji? Like, are we supremely confident that the offensive problem is just fixed once we get better personnel? I continue to be worried about.
I've been thinking about that too. And I don't trust him. That's why a lot of people, he's not there. He got in late and all these excuses. No, he's just don't seem to be that good. So honestly, it almost reminds me of Ryan Day, the way he calls it. Oh, I'm scared to run the starter. I'm scared to run the starter. You know what I'm saying? They seem to have that. Oh, we got to protect him like the quarterback's not a football player.
Like he's not a football player. Yeah, man. Like that's what he can give you as a player. Do it. How did Rutgers run an offense with Gavin Wimsatt all season and stuck with him? Never replaced the man because he had wheels, right? He had something that could continue the offense down the field. And even though it looked ugly, Rutgers was so much more competitive offensively with Gavin Wimsatt than we've been with any of our quarterbacks offensively. So it just continues to numb my mind. They have to add a piece to the offensive coaching staff that nullifies that. The lack of use, the lack of maximization of personnel. It can't continuously be a personnel problem when you're not putting guys in the best positions to succeed.
Yeah, if you got a mobile quarterback, you tell him to protect himself, but you don't have to use him every week, his legs. But in the big games, you got to use him. And Miller Moss, would I take him? Yes.
Yes.
He can make every throw. Some people, he's not that good. He's pretty good. I saw him against us.
I actually think Miller Moss is perfect for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think he has very good accuracy, elite ball placement. His arm strength is what it is. But hell, we don't throw the ball that far anyway. So it's perfect for this offense. Plus, he's at least a starter. You know what you're going to get from a Miller Moss if he has to start, right? You're not expecting him to like be that much more than what he already is. Like, he has to be this much better to be good for us. No, he can be exactly what he is today and start games for you. That's the type of quarterback you need to look for in the transfer portal. And also, go ahead. No, you go.
No, he can make every throw. That's what I look at for a quarterback, especially one that's not a mobile dual threat.
Yeah.
Can make every throw.
I agree. I think that he's also the type of quarterback that if you have, Bryce Underwood, Jaden Davis, Brady Hart all flanking him, that's just competition, right? He's going to raise the level of those guys. Those are all higher rated guys than he was. But being that he's already a college starter in Power 5, he's going to be able to bring them along a lot faster because he raises the floor of the room. I would love to have a quarterback like that at Michigan.
Put this Larry Baldwin up there for me. No, it's further down. The last one.
There you go.
I mean,
Bo Nix was better than Dylan Gabriel. You still think that? Yeah, I mean his numbers are better.
exactly. His numbers were still better.
Still better. Yeah.
Only difference is he hasn't had to face Washington from last year.
And Oregon's defense is a little bit better this year too.
You know
That's another caveat. I think their defense is a little bit better than they were last year.
And those losses weren't really on Bo Nix to Washington. They were more on Dan Lanning. So I think he still is. He's gonna have to still prove more for me to say that. But I ain't gonna front. He's like a dog. He better than I thought.
He's nice. I think he got a little bit better defense. This is the second year in the Lanning program. You would expect them to be better than they were last year, at least as a team. As a quarterback, as a quarterback prospect, I'd still take Bo Nix over Dylan Gabriel for sure.
Yeah, right now. But I'll admit he's impressed me some.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But with the last thing on the Bryce Underwood stuff, though, Michigan fans, we gotta have that energy, this same energy with our homegrown players.
Sure. Oh yeah.
We have to win back Michigan. We've lost too much talent out of Michigan the last.
Way too many players going to Kentucky and Kansas and like just honestly, no disrespect, but lesser programs.
Even Michigan State, we're losing too many top players.
Now we don't lose too much to Sparty. Now you don't give them.
But we be losing some. But
Andrew March is one I would love to have.
Exactly, we're losing too many top players. If they're the lower level, but we need to get those top dudes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason we're in this situation, because we didn't get our homegrown players. Bryce, well, if we get Bryce or whatever, Dante, CJ, you know what I'm saying? That's our quarterback room right there. We should be hitting on these dudes. At least one of them. That's killing us, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to win your home state.
I think the NIL thing is what's changed the tide, man. I hate to say it, but like, when that's no longer a sticking point, when a team can't walk into a kid's living room and be like, look, man, this is not even comparable. Look at our package and look at Michigan's and just tell me if it's even a starter. When they can do that, you're not competitive. Yeah. So being on this train with all these boosters now that are so motivated to donate, it maybe would have been great to get that last off season, get all this energy last off season. Coming off the national championship, you would think, but people are human. You got to show them a loss before they actually get serious. So it is what it is.
But like I said, and I'll put it to rest with Bryce, it's gonna mean more to win at Michigan. I know you might like LSU and all that.
Doing it at home,
mean more you win at home, bro.
Yeah, doing it at home. Like again. Even with whether or not Joe Sloan leaves for the East Carolina game, do you really trust Brian Kelly? Like I know that they pitched you Jaden Daniels, the Heisman run. Number one, they lost 4 or 5 games that season. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, how many years did Jaden Daniels spend with Herm Edwards, an NFL coach? He spent 3 years with that man before he even heard the name Brian Kelly as an option to go play for an LSU.
That's a good point.
So, again, the quarterback development at Michigan, there's a lot of gaps there. Obviously, I will concede that. But most recently, we got a guy that we built from scratch and sent him top 10. And the whole time, analysts, college commentators, opposing coaches, not that impressive, can't throw the deep ball, can't win on his arm, blah, 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 blah. 2 losses as a starter overall and a national champion and a top 10 pick. Now, tell me, what about that don't you want? You want to go to the SEC, be a third fiddle team, rack up 7-8 wins, and then win a Heisman? Or you want to win a national championship at your home?
I'm interested to know what means the most to him. Is it trying to win a Heisman, and a Natty, trying to just win a Natty?
Yeah, do you want to win? I think he wants to win. I mean, he's a guy who's been in the state championship 3 out of the 4 years he's been in high school. I would hope he has that pedigree.
I know he wants to be developed, but is you putting up numbers, is that the most important thing? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that more important than you winning? Or do you think me putting up numbers, we going to win if I'm putting up numbers? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, not just UC, Jay Marion, but at Notre Dame too. They found out, they got an ESPN alert about their coach going to Louisiana before he had a meeting with him. So that's the type of guy he is, man. And again, if it goes sour at LSU, do you think he's not going to leave you there or expect you to follow him to whatever university he's going next? Something to think about. Yeah. All right. I mean, that's pretty much it, man. They say I'm not worried about Miller Moss if he goes to Michigan. Will Sander Nolan as our QB. Man, y'all got Tavian Sinclair coming back. Devin Brown has another year of eligibility, and he don't never want to leave Ohio State. He want to be the Van Wilder of their quarterback room. Somebody's leaving, and Lincoln Kingholtz is still there. So somebody's gone. Probably a couple of somebodies is going to be gone. That quarterback room is not going to look like that the way it looks now next offseason. Absolutely not.
You know, we just want to stack up good starting level quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. You want to stack up the good quarterbacks, starting level quarterbacks, and iron sharpens iron, and whoever wins the job wins it.
Yeah.
Similar to all the other programs, top level programs, they have quarterbacks stacked up on the bench.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. And right, and like you said, bringing in Miller Moss would do that to your room immediately because he's a guy you can plug in as a starter at worst. So now all of the other guys around him are like, I have to take my level one step further than me just being talented because this guy is already at starting experience and he can start. He's good enough to play. He's older than me. He has starts. If I allow them to just pick him, they will because he'll be the best option. So now that takes a Jaden Davis, takes a Bryce Underwood, and now just beyond trying to get the playbook down or using whatever skill set I got to be, to be promoted. Now I also have to take that next step of making plays. I have to do something to get on the field. I like it. But yeah, your quarterback room is going to take a hit there, Buckeyes. Any other thoughts before we get out of here? We're a little bit over. It's 12:09, so they probably on the field by now.
No, that's all I got.
All right, for sure. Make sure y'all follow my man Johnny Odin at the Johnny Odin. Is Johnny Odin channel?
It's just my name, Johnny Odin Jr.
Yep, Johnny Odin Jr. on YouTube. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Here we are doing this every Saturday at 11. It'll be some combination of me and Johnny, or me and Josh, or Josh and Johnny. Here until the end of the season, man, until the national championship game. So again, like, share, subscribe, follow us. House Divided. We'll see you next Saturday. Happy hunting in your games. Go Blue.
Go Blue.